and I feel like shit. I have come down with a bad head cold. I'm actually leaving work early, but you are caught in the car with Kia. There is no traffic because it's only 3:51, so there's nothing in there. I just want to do a quick video about Iyanla, because this one, Iyanla Fix My Life, is a story of the 7 broken brothers, and she's actually sitting down and talking to 5 of the brothers. This is the second episode of the series. I think it's a 3-part series. I have not seen the first one. My DVR wasn't working, so I only have seen the second one. But I think no matter where you picked up at in this series, you kind of know what's going on. Just a tiny recap. It's about 7 brothers who were left behind by their parents who chose drugs over them. One of the brothers was actually killed in an incident where none of the brothers really know what's going on, because the oldest brother was with them, was with the one who got killed, and has not been able to really vocalize and explain what's happened to make sense to the other brothers, and they're all very frustrated about that. The other brother is incarcerated, so there's 5 brothers right now. This to me is a really, really sad story, because these kids, well, they're adults now, but these kids were put in foster care and were treated disgusting. And to me, the larger, sadder part of this story is the fact that, you know, these kids, you know, instead of being with their parents where it was a horrible situation because they were addicted to crack, were put into foster care thinking, okay, they need to be in a safer environment, and they weren't put in a safer environment. They were physically abused, they were emotionally abused, mentally abused, and sexually abused. And that's just, it's awful. And the things that one of the brothers was saying, how his parents, his foster parents, would call him a faggot, and when he would look at another man, whether even if he was just looking up, you know, another man, they'd be like, you know, he wants to fuck you, or do you want to fuck him? Like, you don't say stuff like that to children. Even if children are showing, you know, male children are showing a more feminine, you know, mannerisms or whatever, you still don't say stuff like that to children. It's damaging, and it just really breaks my heart when they were talking about how they were treated in foster care. But just to back up a little bit, the episode opens with the brothers all talking to each other, and they were sitting kind of calmly, all talking to each other, just explaining how they were feeling. But you immediately see that the brothers know how they feel and want to project those feelings onto the other brothers, and the other brothers are fighting with each other, trying to say, you know, no, that's not how I feel like this. And they all, you know, want to understand each other but don't want to listen, which is something that you really can't do. And it was really sad watching them kind of fight in the beginning and watching them kind of talk to each other that way, because you can tell that they love each other, that they want to be supportive. They just really want to be heard. Like, you need to hear me, you understand how I'm feeling. If you don't want to understand, then fuck you and this and that. And it was just real sad. And this part is funny. It's not really funny in a ha-ha way, but funny in a whoa way is how Iyanla came in. And she came in because I had missed the first 2 seconds, so I didn't know why she was dressed like my mom on a Saturday morning. So when she came in and she had on her bandana and apron, all I thought was, ooh, they about to get in trouble. Kind of how my mom would come in if me and my brothers was fighting. That's exactly how she acted. She had like a black mom about to go off and beat somebody. But she pulled them apart, telling them to shut their mouth. Like, she talked to them that they were her kids. And I feel like that kind of direction is really what they, you know, needed, was kind of that hardcore, you're going to listen to me. You're going to hear me, and I'm going to treat you like one of my kids. And but she pulled them apart and talked to them, and they both just have had horrible experience. The brother who's trying to take care of everybody is just taking on so much on himself, and he blames himself for so much, and he was a little kid. It makes me sad when I hear, because even, you know, I hear my stepson do this, and this is a little piece that I probably shouldn't put on YouTube, but I am. My stepson is a son, I'm raising him with my husband. We raise him. His mother is alive. She just isn't around as active as I know she wants to be. My stepson's also special needs. I don't know if I said that or not, but she is dealing with a lot mentally. She has mental issues. She is sick. She's dealing with bipolar disorder. And my stepson sometimes goes over there when she is in town, when they think she's healthier, and he kind of goes over there because he actually thinks in his little mind that he can fix it, and that he can make it better, and that he can make her feel better. And when he can't, he comes home so angry and so mad that he then takes that behavior to school the next day, where then I'm getting a call from school that he is yelling at people, he's throwing things, he's hitting a teacher because he just can't understand why he couldn't make it better. So when I hear this boy's story about how it was his responsibility, I've seen that in my own child. And I wish more kids, and I wish more adults didn't put that pressure on kids where they have to feel like it's their job to fix something or do something. Their job is to kill children. And I keep trying to remind my stepson as much as I can, because sometimes his communication's not the best. It's not your fault. It's okay. We'll fix it. Mommy's gonna get better. We're gonna fix it. And and I even try to take on all of his pain and say, this mommy's gonna fix it. We're gonna make it better. You're gonna see your mom. We're gonna work it out. And he walks away and says, okay. So I see that, and it makes me sad. Another part of this episode that I didn't get to talk about before, that it kind of also makes me sad because of my personal situation, is watching the older brother, who is probably developmentally delayed. I wouldn't call him special needs. I wouldn't call him the R word, but he is developmentally delayed. And I know he very badly wants to communicate what actually happened during the shooting, but he probably doesn't want anybody to be mad at him. It's probably something that he feels is his fault, again, where he wanted to fix and he couldn't fix it and he couldn't make it right, and his brother died. And I feel bad for a lot of special needs kids, and again, because I'm dealing with one, they can't communicate the way they want, and they also want to communicate in a way that makes people want to be around them and make people happy. And I keep telling my own child, no matter what happens, you need to vocalize what's going on. You're not in trouble. I'm not gonna be mad at you, but you need to tell me what's going on so I can help you. And I feel like the older brother just can't vocalize it in a way that he thinks that's going to make everybody happy. So he's trying to tell these versions of the story that will keep everybody happy. And that's sad. It's also sad kind of how society has treated him and how his brothers have treated him, because no one's asked him, like Iyanla said, what he's capable of. No one knows. And that's, again, something else that I can relate to with my life, because before I came into the picture with my stepson, he's 12, they all thought he was going to grow out of it, until I came in and said, wait a minute, that's not how developmentally delayed, people are, or mentally disabled people are. They're not going to grow out of it, but you have to help them grow and cope with where they're at. So when I came in, I was like, no, he's not going to grow out of it. Let's get therapists in play. And since then, he's had the necessary surgeries that he's needed. He has had therapists come into life. We've been more active with the occupational therapist. And now my stepson, you know what, I'm just talking about my stepson. My son is now growing leaps and bounds, and I love seeing that, because he just needed someone to know what's going on and how to grow with it. And I feel like that's where the older brother really needs to, what he really needed. The other part that I noticed, they had the father come in, and when I saw this man walk into the room, this man looks exactly like all of those boys. He looks like a spitting image. Like, you can look at those boys and they all have their father's eyes. And that just, to me, was a little heartbreaking, but his father was addicted to drugs. And they're playing a game with Iyanla so they can all see the same page, see that they're all on the same page. They've had the same experiences in their lives, and hasn't been the best experience. And the older brother, Marcus, kind of opens up and starts to get emotional, because he does feel like all of this is his fault. And his father does come up and support him, and he seems like he genuinely wants to know how he can make it better from here on, because you can't take back the past. And Iyanla asked a very important question, which I had been asking since I heard that this episode was going to go on, was, where is their mom? And she asked him, the father, where is their mother? And he said that she had moved back to California. And all the boys are like a year apart. Like, as soon as she got healed up from the last pregnancy, she got pregnant with the next baby. It was like back to back to back to back babies. And she asked him, if you knew she was on drugs, then why did y'all keep if you knew she was on drugs, if you knew she had abandoned children, why did you keep having kids with her? Which is a logical question. Like, why would you keep having kids with someone who you both are on drugs? Why would you keep bringing kids into the situation? That doesn't help anything, and that kind of blows me away. And you didn't just have another baby and go, yeah, this whole baby thing is not a good idea. We don't need to do this again. Y'all brought, after the first one and the second one, you brought 5 more babies into the house on a crackhead salary. I mean, and that's a bad joke, so whoever's going to go in my comments and say it's not funny, but I mean, I'm serious. Like, you're not bringing in any money. You're living off the state. Like, you're putting these kids in this awful situation. So Iyanla goes and talks to the mother, who I don't know if anybody else notices this, but looks exactly like Frankie, Keisha Cole's mother. I don't know if that's like a drug addict look, and they tend to look alike because of what it does to your body. But those two women look exactly the same to me. But she brings the woman in, and she's kind of, to me, it seemed like she was detached from the situation. She didn't look like how a mom would look if she had lost her boys and is trying to understand where they're coming from and really wants to help them. But that's not the part that I want to bring up right now. The part that I want to bring up is when their sister came out. Their sister is older than them. She's 38. And she was raised by the grandmother. And the grandmother took great care of her. She's a very beautiful girl, looks very well taken care of, you know, and she's got a good head on her shoulders. And the daughter thinks that my mother doesn't like me because she's jealous of me. Would you hate to think that somebody's mother would be, that your mother would be jealous of you? But in some cases that happens, and I feel like this has happened back in the day. Me and my mom have talked about this, how in some cases, the daughter wasn't ready. And this didn't happen to me and my mom's kids, I'm just saying. And in the daughter's case, the daughter was too young, not ready to raise a child. So the mom took over as the mother. And the little kid got treated way better than maybe the daughter did, because the grandmother thinks, like, maybe this is my second time around. You know, and I'm just speculating, but that's where I feel the jealousy comes from. You can't always say, I don't think I would ever be jealous of my child, but who knows? You never know what's going to, you know, change a person's mind or whatever. I'm just saying how it seems like to me. So the girl sat down, and what struck me and took my breath away was when that girl said, "You loved the boys more than you loved me. You went back to be with them. You loved them. You cared about them more than me. You just wanted to be with them. You left me. You never came back. You went to go be with the boys." And I don't know whoever else saw this episode and was acting the same way I did. I was thinking, what boys? Is there like another set of brothers that we don't know about that they're bringing out later? And that's what Iyanla said, which made me think, okay, we're all on the same page. And Iyanla said the same thing, like, what boys are you talking about? What boys? She's like, my brothers. She's like, your brothers? Wait, your brothers weren't with your mom? She's like, yes, they were with my mom. My mom left. So she went and got Marcus and brought Marcus back in. And she repeated it. And of course, Marcus was like, what are you talking about? She was not with us. We were living in cars. We were running away. We were in 85 foster cares. We were getting abused. Like, we were not with her. We never saw her. And you can see the light bulb a little bit go off in both of their heads, thinking neither one of us had her. We've been mad at each other, thinking that one of us got our mom more than the other, when the truth is, it's not the case. And that's just so sad. And you can see here the daughter just angered, just trying to figure out, okay, if you weren't with them, where were you and why didn't you want to be with me? I'm your daughter, like, why didn't you want to be with me? And the mom kind of goes into this whole, well, do you know what my mother did to me? And it kind of cuts out right there. And like I said, the main thing that I got out of this whole video was just how awful the foster care system is and how bad it was. I have an adopted little sister. My little sister, we got her when she was 3. She is now going on 17. But when we first got her, my dad and my stepmom were fostering her first. And social workers were at their house all the time. And they came in, did a check of the house to make sure the house was okay. They interviewed my mom, my stepmom, my dad. They interviewed my little sister. They did all these checks until she was officially adopted. So what was happening with these boys? Was there no social worker coming in? Were the kids not allowed to talk to the social worker? Were they terrified to talk to the social worker? Even when they ran away, kids don't just run away to run away. I know that. I've learned that. Kids don't just run away to run away. When they ran away the first time and got caught living in a car on the side of the road, no one thought, okay, something's drastically wrong. These kids weren't running away just to, oh, I want to spend the weekend away from my parents. They're running away trying to survive by themselves. And it just makes me sad that people would do this much for a check. And again, this is a little bit of my personal business, putting it out there. My son's mom's mother doesn't get along with me because she's under this assumption that I'm only taking care of my son, our son, for his social security check. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. I don't love him. I don't care about him. I don't value him. I'm only taking care of him for the check. I will put this out there. There is no check in the world that would make me stop being this child's mother. There's no check in the world that would make me do more than what I'm doing. I love him. I want to have him. And if it was up to me, I would be able to adopt him and make him legally mine. Not because of the money, not because of some social security check, but because I love him. He's annoying. My stepson is absolutely annoying. And he does, you know, drive me insane. He does make me sad. He's made me cry multiple times. But it's all because I love him and I want him to do more. And when he gets bad days at school, it hurts my feelings. I'm like, what else do I need to do to make you feel better, to help you do better in school? So the money, to me, when people are adopting kids just for a check and you're torturing them, and we hear these stories all the time about kids being tortured in foster care or abused or whatever in foster care, like, it's like, are these people not being screened? And I'm not going to go into a tantrum about this. It's a whole different conversation. But are these people, even now and back in the day, not being screened as foster parents? Are other people not being interviewed? I mean, what's happening where, you know, you can just send a child off to a home and then they get called a faggot? Like, I can't imagine. So that's just my rant. I'm sorry that it's a rant. I am sick. I cannot wait to go home and get in my bed. I will have more videos this week. This is my counting down the days of me commuting. I'm so excited about that. So this is one of the last Mondays I'll be doing commuting. So this is my video for the day, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.